Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind Podcast. Today's podcast, episode number 274. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Mondays with Mello. You guys know what time it is. Time to talk about what's going on my mind. And today we're talking about beast mode. And for those who listen to motivational speakers, this topic always comes up, beast mode, right? You'll hear it from, Eric Thomas and, a couple of other people. And I figured, you know what? Why not? Let's tackle this today. Let's talk about it. So, this is gonna be a good one. Now, everyone talks about beast mode all of the time. Whether you see it on motivational videos, like I just said, on YouTube or social media postings, everyone is utilizing that to push themselves to greatness. There are those that are really doing it, and some who are just posting it on social media for clout, likes, and attention. Now, you must be wondering, what does beast mode look like for you? What beast mode looks like for me is relentlessly working every day. It's thinking, planning, organizing, and basically going after my goals. It's consistently writing new books and content on a daily basis. It's planning and writing books months and potentially a year ahead of time. It's creating book covers for books I haven't even written outlines for yet, which is a very common occurrence. I'll say that the books that I'm currently writing for next year have been in the works for about 2 to 3 years, give or take. That pretty much tells you how many book ideas I get on a daily basis. And I will openly say that there is a folder in my phone that is full of book ideas. Like literally, it's not even a joke. It's probably about 50 different notes of just a book title, a book concept, an idea, characters' names, all kinds of things. I'm getting to a point where I am starting to struggle trying to find good characters' names that fit for my books. But let's get back to the topic at hand. So, beast mode is recording 3 to 6 podcasts after working my full-time job, either for the day or for the week. Getting better at scheduling when I'm going to record my podcast and not just kind of going out on a limb. The minimum I will pre-record are 3. The most I will do is 6 in a day. I'm able to do that because my podcasts really aren't that long. So if my podcasts were like 30 to 45 minutes, yeah, that'd be pushing it. I probably wouldn't record 3 in a day. But it is posting my podcasts and setting a day and time for them to be posted, and then pretty much moving on to the next thing that I need to focus on. It's spending weekends in my apartment writing blogs months ahead of time and having them posted on my website for a specific publication date. Beast mode for me is also writing, editing, formatting, creating a book cover way ahead of time, doing the spine, writing the synopsis, and putting my books on bookstore websites way ahead of time. Then ordering paperback copies and having them to look at for review and then posting them on my social media platforms. That's what my beast mode consists of. And so many more things. So what exactly is your beast mode? How do you get into that zone and get work done? What is your drive, destination, and discipline on your journey? And are you really ready for that grind? The hours of dedication to get your goals accomplished? The sacrifices that you'll have to make somewhere along the lines? Because I'll sit here and tell you, I will get my work done before I go out with friends, before, I have fun, things of that nature. So I have to make sure that I feel good enough to say, I've done a good amount of work. Now I can go spend time with friends or family or whatever the case is. I mean, I don't have family where I live right now, but I'm just using that as an example, right? So I need to ask you guys, like, what is your drive? What is your motivating factor? Like, is it family? Is it friends? Is it someone that is very close to you, whether it's a significant other or it's a parent or a brother or a sister? What is that motivation to get you out of your bed every day? Because beast mode requires you to go. It also requires you to balance out your life a little bit too. And you can't be in beast mode unless you get the right rest, unless you eat right, you get good exercise, you get good sunlight, you hydrate yourself, and you make sure that you're in a good mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual space. You can feel great physically, but be emotionally and spiritually drained. Doesn't work. You gotta have all four. And if you have all four, you're in great shape. Beast mode requires a lot of things from you. And those things, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, this is what I need to do. Now, don't get me wrong. This could have been utilized for a Wednesday motivation and inspiration podcast, but this is something that's on my mind, you know? And everyone's beast mode is a little different. But I've been on mine for over 7 years. And I think for the first 3, I was a little too cuckoo. And what I mean by that is I would, be up all night long till like 5 a.m. sometimes. Wasn't the healthiest thing. So I've gotten better. I've balanced out my life a lot. And because of where I am right now and because I've done so much work, sometimes I can take small breaks. I can take a day off, and it's okay to do that. Trust me. But just know that this work and this grind is not easy. But I see people on social media who, are struggling, trying to figure out their life and trying to balance out their stuff. And that's where you have to sit and really prioritize what's important. You have to choose you first. And that's the most important component. And, if you're trying to, focus on a goal or a dream or aspiration on the side with having a full-time job, I will say, do not sacrifice your sanity for your full-time job. If your full-time job, you're dedicated to 40 hours a week, you do 40 hours a week. Like, honestly, if your job requires you to do too much, you got to start thinking to yourself, what's important? My goals and my aspirations, or making someone else more money? That's part of beast mode too. It's sacrificing and saying, all right, I'm going to get what I need to get done as far as my full-time job. I'm going to make sure that I get paid well and I can take care of myself and take care of my family. But I've got to focus on my goals, my dreams, my aspirations. And I'm not willing to work extra hours for the sake of a company when at the end of the day, you're taking away from the time that you need to do your work. Because we're all blessed with talents and gifts. And I am a huge component of preaching this. And I say this a lot on my podcast. And when you get into beast mode, that means you have to utilize your talents and your gifts. Do not let them go to waste. I constantly tell people this. And there are people in my life right now that have not figured out what their talents and gifts are, or they do know what they are, but they're afraid to hone in on them. And that's fine. Some people are just not at that place yet. But I do tell people, well, you are talented and gifted in this and this and this, or yeah, you have this in you, or you have that, whatever it is, right? Because I take the time to get to know people and I listen to who they are and their stories and what they like and what their interests and things like that, because I'm intrigued by that, right? And some people in their 20s figure out, okay, this is what I love, this is what I do, what I want to do, and they go for it, right? I have met people who have that in their 20s, and the people that are in their 20s that have the full-time job and they live on their own and they have to, take care of certain things, and they haven't really fully felt out who they are and they haven't figured out their talents and their gifts yet. And that's okay. Same thing that I know people in their 30s, I know people in their 40s who are still trying to figure it out. It's okay. I had someone tell me, "Oh, I'm turning 25 next year, and I have to it's like I'm halfway to 30, and I got to figure this out." And I'm looking at her like, yeah, guess what? I'm 40, and I still haven't figured out my life yet. I've made some progress with it, but I'm not there yet. So I'm looking at you like, don't try to figure out your life at a certain age. Live in the moment and really go after what you want. And don't let anyone stop you. Be relentless in your journey. And being relentless means being in beast mode. All right, y'all. That's my podcast for today. Thank you guys for listening as always. Be good, everyone, and go accomplish your goals.